But my wife came here for the first time in 1985 in her capacity as one of the more glamorous colonels in the British Army.
The Brandenburg Gate, where East meets West in Berlin, and where East watches West. But despite the winter weather and the bleak partition of the wall, the two sides are celebrating Berlin's 750th anniversary, and the royal guests of honour for the West celebrations were to be watched closely from both sides of the border. At the airport, military discipline was imposed on the press, who were under orders not to leave their mobile grandstands as the Prince and Princess arrived. All the press attention was focused on the couple's attitude to each other as the gloomy winter evening closed in. Rumours of marriage problems put their relationship under intense public scrutiny. But right from the very first handshakes, the couple set out to dispel the rumours. The princess, defiant in cheerful yellow, shadowed her husband's walkabout, leaving his side just once to greet a disabled woman. And Prince Charles deliberately rewrote his speech for the welcoming ceremony to pay his wife a special compliment.
I have had the pleasure myself of visiting Berlin on many occasions in the past, but my wife came here for the first time in 1985 in her capacity as one of the more glamorous colonels in the British Army.
That evening, the colonel lived up to the compliment at a ballet gala performance, where there was one of the more bizarre guards of honour ever inspected by royalty. They met dancers from the Royal Ballet, Britain's cultural contribution to Berlin's birthday celebrations. The princess is a knowledgeable ballet enthusiast and familiar with the tale of the beautiful princess in Stravinsky's Firebird. After the ballet, it was back to work and on to Bonn. Meeting the West German president at his official residence was the first political engagement, and the princess embellished it with a daring hemline. President von Weizsäcker was keen to show off the noted works of art in the house, but the pressmen already had their picture. Later, everything from the English love of tea to the promotion of British goods was discussed with Chancellor Kohl. The German press saw the strengthening of Anglo-German friendship as an important theme of the tour. At Bonn City Hall, Prince Charles gave the first of many speeches in German.
Ein sehr angenehmer Ort zum Wohnen geblieben ist.
He joked about Bonn choosing Oxford as a twin town, not his university city.
Von meinem Standpunkt als Absolvent der Universität Cambridge ausgesehen. Die falsche britische Universität.
After an attentive silence outside, there were shouts for the couple to cross the square. Walkabouts had become follow-abouts so far on this tour, a joint effort side by side, to the horror of one official who'd apparently planned for the princess to do one side of the square alone. Prince Charles had the final word. The band of Royal Air Force Germany entertained the hundreds waiting for the royal touch. In Bonn, there was a chance to escape official duties and find some peace and privacy at the British ambassador's residence. The Art Nouveau building is a favourite with the Queen, who has stayed here twice since the British government bought the building. The Prince and Princess's reception room was just one of many fine rooms carefully restored by successive ambassadors. The royal couple's private suite on the first floor had a fine view of the secluded grounds and the famous river itself. In the evening, they were back on parade, shaking 150 hands at the president's dinner. The princess wore an estimated £1 million worth of diamonds, a gift from the Sultan of Oman. Among the VIPs, Germany's tennis champion Boris Becker. The princess is a promising tennis player herself and a regular spectator at Wimbledon. Her sophisticated hairstyle met with the approval of the media. One photographer complimented her out loud as she passed. The dinner was an opportunity for the couple to meet the political and business community of Bonn before leaving the city for the next stop of the tour. Bonn's neighbouring city Cologne is dominated by its Gothic cathedral, one of the few buildings to survive the bombing of the last war. Today, after years of rebuilding and renovation, it houses treasures of great history and beauty. The three wise men are said to be buried here, commemorated in an altar panel painted in the year 1200. Outside, stonework described by historians as the greatest church facade in Christendom. The famous central porch portrays 60 biblical figures. But with air pollution eating into the stone, the cathedral is under constant repair to maintain the intricate masonry. The royal couple had very little time for sightseeing in their packed schedule, but their visit to the cathedral was allocated a generous 40 minutes to allow for the full conducted tour and a mini recital on the ancient organ. Frequently out of sight of the media, the couple were able to relax and concentrate on their history lesson. The princess got left behind as Prince Charles strode on ahead to see the shrine of the three wise men. This ornate gold casket is decorated with gold filigree work and precious jewels. Maintaining such ancient treasures takes modern skill and science, and the couple was shown the restoration of stained glass windows. Prince Charles discussed the theory. The princess couldn't resist tracing the fine lines for herself. All around her, windows restored to their medieval glory. At the City Hall, one group expressed their gratitude for a half-day holiday, though tension was obviously building up for one young man plotting a secret mission. Only a few more minutes to wait, split-second timing was essential, then into action. German hospitality means German beer. Despite her husband's encouragement, the princess was embarrassed enough before she took a sip. The frothy after effect doubled the blushes. In their role as ambassadors for British products, the royal couple attended a fashion show of British clothes and so guaranteed national television coverage in Germany for the designer's work. The princess, relishing her role as fashion trendsetter, wore a flounced above-the-knee suit by London designer Victor Eggleston. Proceeds from the show in Cologne's Museum of Modern Art went to a charity for teenage drug addicts. Priceless publicity went to the British clothing industry. The princess noted every design detail. Short black skirts featured regularly, a compliment to the princess's own style. Experts at the show praised her influence on fashion and her choice of outfits for the tour.
I like them very much. I didn't see them all, but I saw the yellow coat when she arrived, and I liked it. You see, we have dark November days, and there comes the yellow coat. You love it.
Just today in Bonn, when she arrived, the short black skirt with a wonderful red jacket. It was a dream.
Afterwards, the princess chatted happily and seemed reluctant to leave. Her relaxed mood was ideal for their next destination, the southern state of Bavaria and Munich, city of beer cellars and bands. From the beer cellars to the city's famous twin-towered cathedral, Munich has a style all of its own. By now, it seemed the German public were becoming more and more infatuated with the prince and princess. Excited crowds filled Munich's central square, their appetites whetted by obsessive newspaper coverage of the couple in Berlin, Bonn and Cologne. Those who couldn't get through the crowds resorted to desperate measures to attract the princess's attention. Apparently now confident of their public image as a united couple, they at last agreed to separate walkabouts. The princess collected her first flowers of the day. The prince stopped to talk whenever he found someone speaking English, even English with a Bolivian accent.
America.
Are you? Bolivia?
Yes. Do you know it?
I haven't yet been there.
Oh, yes. Pleasure.
As they made slow progress, the crowd pushed forward in front of the new town hall. New because it was built in the 19th century, across the square from the 15th century old town hall. Even these veterans of balcony appearances seemed touched by the warmth of their welcome. Inside, Prince Charles declined to borrow a pen. His wife, at first, declined to show her face. The mayor was startled by the frenzied flashes until the princess explained she'd simply lifted her head. The royal family never sign autographs, but as even the smallest German towns proudly keep a golden book for distinguished visitors, the prince and princess were obliged to sign in at every new location. There was a brief opportunity for some more sightseeing with a visit to the Nymphenburg Palace. It was built by the ruler of Bavaria in 1668 as a thank you present to his wife for bearing him a son. Here, surrounded by Greek gods and goddesses, the royal couple had a private lunch with Prince Franz of Bavaria, a distant relative of Prince Charles's, though a prince in name only. The German monarchy was ousted by revolution in 1918. Nymphenburg Palace houses King Ludwig I's Gallery of Beauties, a room devoted to portraits of 16 women chosen from all walks of life who represented the ideal of 17th century beauty. The artists summarized the necessary qualities as harmony, grace, and an enthusiastic and thrilling glance. Prince Charles, himself an artist, cast a critical eye. The most famous was Lola Montez. Born in Scotland, she seduced King Ludwig and enraged his court with her arrogant manner. He was forced to abdicate. The princess was interested in the girl from the humblest background, Helena Steinmeier, a shoemaker's daughter. Popular opinion at the time held her to be the most beautiful woman in the gallery. Her face was the one everyone wanted to see. From 17th century beauties to 18th century music, a performance of the Marriage of Figaro at Munich Opera House. They were welcomed by Bavaria's state president Franz Josef Strauss, his daughter Monica attracting a gallant gesture from Prince Charles. Despite a long, tiring day, the princess appeared to be in vivacious mood, chattering animatedly with her hosts, then lifting her flamenco-style skirt above those famous knees and carefully arranging the frills and flounces as she took her seat. From Mozart to milk yields, a royal tour demands great flexibility. Prince Charles was at a research centre studying animal feed additives, the first of many engagements that day. He took a studious interest in the livestock. The livestock reciprocated. German agricultural practices owe much to research findings here. These piglets, for example, which the prince did not see, are an experiment in early weaning. The royal couple met up again for a display of traditional Bavarian horsemanship. The pageant evoked the region's history, its peasant farmers, and its fighting forces. The princess was highly entertained, sharing her enthusiasm with her husband. He couldn't hide his astonishment at a special rawhide recital. Playtime at a very special school, where handicapped and healthy children are taught alongside each other. The princess, a former kindergarten teacher, took a close interest.
We are happy to see you, Lady Di.
She was joined again by Monica Strauss, with whom she had appeared to form a close friendship.
We are happy to see you, Lady Di. We are happy to see you, Lady Di.
The youngster's English impressed the princess.
You speak a little bit of English. You learned it while you've been here. In America.
Tornado aircraft built in Germany have many British components, and the assembly plant north of Munich wanted to do its bit for Anglo-German relations by explaining that relationship to Prince Charles. He met the workers before going outside to admire their handiwork. Prince Charles then flew into a controversy at Germany's equivalent of Sandhurst. He was criticised in Britain as being insensitive in praising German soldiers, and he described and was seen to support Britain's nuclear deterrent.
Both our countries join NATO and the Western European Union, but the policies, the politics of NATO are not just about weapons procurement. They are about the management of East-West relations, about maintaining an effective and integrated defense posture, about the stationing of United States nuclear weapons in our countries.
Leaving the controversy behind him, Prince Charles took the controls of the BAE 146 aircraft for the flight from Munich north to Hamburg. In mid-air, a rare view of the royal flight as the press plane overtook it, delivering the journalists to Hamburg. One of the world's leading ports for over 700 years, Hamburg boasts 2,000 bridges, more than any other city in Europe. Damming of the River Elbe created a network of canals, and water features in many of the classic views of the city. The royal couple's first stop was to a leading department store, nicknamed the Harrods of Hamburg, which was holding a British goods promotion, backed by £60,000 from the British government. A royal stroll through the displays was all the British exports needed to boost their profile in Germany. The department store had bought £1 million of goods for their promotion fortnight. The only way to appreciate the scale of Hamburg's port is by boat, the royal launch surrounded by police boats. But despite such a close guard on water, the police were criticised for allowing a rooftop demonstration by IRA supporters who fired magnesium flares from the bank. But the royal party sped past, their harbour tour continuing as planned. Dock workers obviously had a very high opinion of the VIP visitors. The royal couple lunched on the launch, the princess draining her glass as they returned to the dock. Then on to the studios of the North German Broadcasting Corporation. Live television cameras focusing on their reactions to a traditional German folk song.
Blaue Büchsen, seine Schau und einen echten Buscherum. Rote Dolger den Hals und krempelt wie der Ärmelsrum. Doch wie krempelt nicht bloß Ärmelsdur und ihr sind ja in Acht. Habt ihr erst wohl mit uns, das gibt am meisten lange Nacht. Wir sind die Jungs von Liv und für den Dienst sind wie der Hans auf Winker satt. Und uns echt Vater und Mutter, wenn sie die Morgen flogen dort. Wie das Jungs ist als im Boller, jo das Jungs von dem als im Laut.
The very latest high-technology graphics equipment was demonstrated. Machines called Paintbox and, appropriately, Harry, are a British development, recently on sale to German TV stations. Close concentration was needed to follow a description of the visual tricks.
Now, Paintbox and Harry are magical machines, and we can actually perhaps make dreams come true with them as well. We wondered, ma'am, whether you would like perhaps to see yourself as a ballerina actually doing the dancing. So if we just play the sequence, very briefly you will see yourself become the ballerina. So never trust what you see on television again.
Overall, looking back on the week, the media coverage was extensive, even by royal tour standards. If the media is a gauge of public opinion in Germany, the tour was a success. The front pages indulged in close examination of every detail of every visit. Television schedules were interrupted for live coverage of some events.
Maßstäben des Hauses Windsor sicher eher bescheiden sein, festlich nach Bonner Art gehen.
For the large number of journalists and photographers, interest had quickly swung from marriage speculation to covering the tour itself. The last few hours of the visit were in Lower Saxony, where huge crowds turned out, evidence of the popular following the couple had built up. Now, separate walkabouts were the only way to satisfy the crowds. While those at the back waved goodbye, at the front, hundreds of hands still had to be shaken. Waiting further up the road, yet more crowds, apparently going for the record in presenting bouquets of flowers. Those who offered fistfuls of Union flags were politely refused. Police tried to keep people back, but relented as Prince Charles went to say his farewells. Everyone wanted to witness the last moments of a tour that had delighted the nation. The visit had begun with Berlin's birthday celebrations. Then to the country's political capital Bonn and meetings with statesmen, surprise changes of style. Then south to a warm Bavarian welcome, enthusiastic crowds in Munich. 500 miles north to Hamburg, relaxed in the friendly atmosphere. Then, after 8 cities in 6 days, home.